Welcome, everybody. My name is Fariha Khan. I'm the co-director of Asian American Studies, and it's really wonderful to see all of you here. And this event kicks off our really jam-packed semester of very exciting events, and I hope that you'll be able to make many of them. This particular event is kicking off the third space series, which is a project that's been generously funded by the Sachs Program for Arts Innovation and the South Asia Studies Department. So it's amazing to be able to partner with them and to be able to host our curator in residence, Aisha Khan from 12 Gates Gallery. So today, we'll just talk a little bit about the project that we conceived and that Aisha is spearheading. And, it'll be a really casual conversation, and we'll hope that you'll be able to engage with us if you have questions and learn a little bit more. We'll talk about the 3 upcoming events that are happening in the semester in some detail. It will be really exciting. And honestly, it will be the first time that the university has hosted a specific project on South Asian American diasporic arts. It's also the first time that the program, Asian American Studies, is really focusing on the arts, in particular visual arts. So let me introduce my dear friend Aisha Khan and welcome everybody on Zoom. If you have questions, don't hesitate to post them in the chat. I'm just going to move this so you can all see me. But Aisha, I'm so glad that you're able to be with us today. And so, I thought we'd just start off. Tell me a little bit about how you started the gallery, because that wasn't originally your career path,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. Hi everyone, good afternoon. And of course, I want to know all of you as well. I don't know if we can ask friends on Zoom. So we'll do a brief introductions, like, your department, everything. Fariha, thank you so much. I have been involved with, I think, Penn and talking with Fariha from last 10 years. 12 Gates is almost 14 years old, right? So we have been talking about, we'll work together on a project, and I can't tell you, this is, I think, the perfect project we can talk about. But a little bit about me. My name is Aisha, as you all know. I came to US at 22, 23 years ago, almost, and soon it will be more living here than in Pakistan. So for me, the reason I told you this, for me, this is very important where my artwork trajectory is going. So my background is in English literature and social work always. I had that angle in my work. And initially when I came here, I started working for Merrill Lynch. It was a financial institution. I learned a lot. And I think I always say that having an artistic background, you have to have a really solid grip of finances and how to administratively do that, right? You need money to run a space. So I worked there for 6, 7 years, very successful career there. But I always say that then I had my son, my only child. When I had him in 2007, for me, kind of living that American dream kind of was a little bit shaken. It was, of course, post um, 9/11, and then having no family, raising a child in America, being an immigrant diaspora, you can call, or immigrant, you can call. It was quite difficult, challenging. So me and my husband, who is also a curator at the organization and also founder with me, so both of us, we decided, and we always had a thing for art. It's not like I did minor. When I came here, I learned sculptures. His background is art history. So we both of us, we decided that this is like really we were in New Jersey, Princeton area, and for every little thing we used to go to New York. But in New York, it is saturated, but it was not like there's an organization and a nonprofit organization which is like really committed to showcase young emerging artists from South Asia. And so having said that, we decided, let's start something. And I don't know how we choose Philadelphia, but the contest was between New York and Philadelphia. But I think what I liked about Philadelphia, and it's been for me 13 years, and this is the city I have ever lived longer anywhere in my life. So I always say Philly is my home because I'm not other in Philly. And looking at this class today, I don't feel other in Philly. Like, I know I live in America. I understand I'm an immigrant. I understand my son is a diaspora identity in this country, but I don't feel like everybody's asking me, where are you from? If they're asking me, they're asking because they are from somewhere. so they want to connect. So that's kind of background of me. Starting this, so in 2008, I left my job and I decided to start this. So in 2009, Atif, myself, and I always say, with a couple of very good friends, we started this organization. We said, okay, let's start it. And then within 2 years, we converted into our nonprofit status, and actually one professor, I don't know if you know Jamal Ilyas here, and Mir Masood Ilyas, they were founding members with us, 4 of us. We said, okay, let's start, making it to a nonprofit arts organization. And I think I met Fariha within few months of the organization. Fariha brought her friends, and then after, I remember there was a film screening and you took that film for your class. And after that, we have been really in conversation. And this is about me. Did I cover everything? I think so. So can we do like a brief introduction, if you don't mind? I want to interact with you. I want to know why you are here. We can start with you.
My name's Ivy. I study health and societies. I'm here because I work here, but also just because I got a really brief introduction like the whole third space thing, and it's really interesting. So I want to learn more. I haven't taken an ASAM class here because I haven't had the opportunity to.
Yes.
So my introduction.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Celine. Good to meet you. I'm a master's student at the Graduate School of Education. What else? I don't have a background in Asian American studies, but I identify heavily with this immigrant diaspora identity between the U.S. and Korea.
Mhm.
And I'm here today to learn more.
Okay,
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm David Ng. I am the faculty director of Asian American Studies, along with my co-director, the fabulous Dr. Khan. We're so excited to see all of you here. Please, if you haven't taken any of our classes, take them. I teach literature, I teach film, and I think that film, art, literature, these are all amazing areas because
Absolutely.
they actually can expose you to things that you'd never really imagined. And the one thing about literature, art, and culture is that it really helps to rearrange your desires without coercing you, right?
Mhm.
There's no gun, there's no baton, there's no police, right? You just read or look or watch, and all of your desires can be rearranged. It's like very powerful.
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited that you're doing this program with us, Aisha. Welcome. It's going to be an amazing semester of events.
I'm really excited and really honored to be here too.
Yeah, I'm Ryan, senior. I minored in ASAM and I'm also part of the ASAM UAB. I really enjoy all the talks from ASAM, especially like this one, like South Asia. I have very strong interest in South Asia, particularly because a lot of the time it's not like one of the major focuses of Asian American studies. So anything relating to those.
Okay, welcome, Ryan.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruth Fly. I teach in the ASAM program. I'm a cultural anthropologist by training, and I'm here because I love art. I don't know how to do it, but I love how it makes me feel, but also like the way that it just tells so many great,
Absolutely.
interesting stories. So I love you my stories. So.
And it connects us, all of us, in so many different ways. So I absolutely agree with you. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Fariha Khan. I just came to Philadelphia actually 3 weeks ago after 20 years with the UN in humanitarian crises, mostly West Africa, but also Afghanistan and Haiti, and a couple of months in India, which I very much enjoy. And I guess my focus, and I'm now working at the Center for Social Norms and Behavior Dynamics, and I guess my interest in the arts is double A, because I love them and because I enjoy them and because I connect with them, but also because during the time that I lived in Haiti, I developed and prototyped a paradigm for social change by individual transformation that looks at individuals as a composition of twice 4 dimensions with aspirations, emotions, thoughts, and sensations. And through these 4 dimensions somehow makes them a reflection of the society they evolved in. with individuals that are part of communities and part of countries that make up the planet. And I published a couple of books about that. But the arts, somehow they transcend the material and the immaterial and the aspirational versus the intellectual. And I think in that sense, it's just a fascinating cross-cultural conveyor of messages that we need to get across.
Absolutely.
So sorry for talking so long.
No. This is beautiful. That's where I'm going to go after this.
Great.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been a lot of different art classes. Everyone's saying very beautiful. And Kat, your background in English and literature. I'm so happy to be here and to learn. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kat.
Hi, my name is Lynette. I am a first year PhD student at the History of Arts department. I mainly work on construction, contemporary and visual culture, and how it can be mobilized as a means to challenge narratives and rewrite historical memories. And I'm here because I'm expanding my research interest into Chinese diaspora in the US and also in Southeast Asia, all kinds of parts of the world, and also just diasporic experience in general. Yeah, I'm just developing interest and also developing my curatorial practice.
Beautiful. Great. And in any particular contemporary era you're trying to figure out, are you, as we speak, you're trying to cover that? So for the contemporary art, are you working with any particular artist, or overall you covering the contemporary art from Asia?
Yeah, in my master research, I was working with particular artists.
Okay.
And right now I'm doing more like an ethnography project with several artists.
Okay.
So I personally have
Okay. Beautiful. All the best.
Also, just as a shout out, Lynette curated a show that's closing at Automatic Collective in the Crane Arts Building this week. So it's in the Crane Arts Building near Fishtown. It's called Mystige. They're both just mentioned.
And which gallery? With which gallery?
Automatic.
Automat? Okay, I'll go check it. It's right around the corner from me. Okay.
I'm also a first year PhD student in the History of Art department, working primarily on South Asian modern and contemporary art. So this is very much my
Wow.
enduring interest, and someone who is, as someone who's interested in the diaspora and someone of the diaspora myself, I'm definitely looking forward to all the great programming that's happening this semester.
And your name, please?
Ria.
Ria. So Ria, you said modern and contemporary. Modern, what era are you talking about?
I have sort of like focused like more like closer to contemporary, I'd say late modern, so like 90s onwards. I wrote my undergraduate thesis on the work of Shazia Sikandar. So
Oh my God. Okay.
Very invested in a lot of these practices. So just really excited to be here.
Great. This is right up your alley. And of course, once we talk, Shazia is coming here. You know that. Beautiful, Ria. Thank you.
And ask her who her advisor is.
Who is your advisor?
So my advisor is Dr. Kohler in the art history.
Yes, Dr. Sanal Kular. Okay. Okay, so you should be coming to 12 Gates. I should be seeing you. Maybe earn you little brownie points. Not too much I can do, but yes, that I can. Okay, thank you.
I'm Ava. I'm a senior. I'm also doing the ASAM minor, so like Ryan. I don't really know anything about art. It's kind of opposite of you. But I'm really excited to learn about it, and especially like learn about the South Asian diaspora.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'm Abby. I'm a sophomore design major. I'm also taking Dr. Khan's class right now with Ava. I also took an art history class with Dr. Fuller last spring. And obviously I'm very interested in art in general. I'm also from the Princeton area.
Okay,
So,
beautiful. That's really nice. So if you go to Princeton University, and you'll see Shazia Sikandar's mural and a lot of work there. Okay, so is there any way we can talk to our Zoom folks, or it's okay?
I don't know if anyone on Zoom wants to introduce themselves. I'm mute. You're certainly welcome to, or
we at chat if you want to say something.
or we can circle back.
Okay.
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 But Aisha, so you and I have known each other for a long time, many years, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how this whole project
Absolutely.
began and how we've applied to the Sachs program for arts innovation.
Absolutely. So 12 Gates, as I said, we started in 2009 and we got our nonprofit status in 2011 and then onwards that. I'll come to this, what Fariha asked, but I have to give you a little bit of background story. So a lot of people ask me why nonprofit? Why you're not a commercial gallery? Because the nonprofit 12 Gates operate, we really deal with contemporary artists from South Asia, and we do go broad in Aswana region, right? So the reason we wanted to do this nonprofit, because number one, for me, Atif, and my board and the advisory board, all of us, we really believe in contemporary art presence. Presence in that sense, and that's a genesis for our conversation, goes back to beginning of the art organization as well, and to beginning of our project as well, where we were thinking that we need a space, representation of South Asian American artists within the domain of contemporary art, or you say rather contemporary American art, right? Not contemporary, where, or like without adding any ethnic level, like these are non-white artists. So there is an artist that's a contemporary artist, and these are all non-white artists. They're Asian, they're South Asians. No, we wanted to create a contemporary American art where this whole conversation about 12 Gates started. And we have been doing this from last 12 years, over and over. People like, okay, but sometimes we have young artists, they come to us, they start going to colleges here, schools here, they are born here, they're American, right? And when they go to school, when they talk about their heritage, professors or art historians, they want to make them art which represents them. They're American. They want to make American contemporary art. So going back and forth to that conversation, when these students come to us, when these artists come to us, we treat 12 Gates artists as a contemporary art. What my mission is in the end, one day, contemporary artists of diaspora identity, they should be in all major museum galleries. It should not be like one show a year. It should not be, they should be among other artists, like, you know. So that's like the otherness of us. That's what 12 Gates is trying to remove through art, right? And when this whole third space, so within 12 Gates, we have been talking about, okay, we're good enough now. Good enough means financially. We can take extra on big projects where we have been showcasing artists. We have been doing salon events. We have been doing multiple events. Let's support artists in poetry genre. Let's support artists who are writers. Let's support artists who are concept. And then there is one genre, conceptual artists. It's so difficult for those artists to showcase their work because commercial galleries don't want them because they don't sell, right? And not everybody can have access to ICA, like a university galleries or museum galleries. So organizations like 12 Gates give them that chance. Come to us, we'll display your art, we'll show your art, create a project with us. That is one part, right? And then the other part is I'm sorry, no, it comes to me. Okay, yes, the other part is like, how do we want to kind of talk about all this art together, right? So that's where the third space, Unfurling Diasporic Arts of South Asia. So I really want to be clear here. This is not one term, diaspora art. It's diasporas. Because within South Asia, we have so many identities. And I will say that over and over in the conversation, even within this room, I think we're multiple South Asians here, and we have different identities. So just putting myself, everybody like, oh, I'm Aisha Khan, I'm from Pakistan, and I am representing whole South Asian diaspora. I'm not, I can't. Even Fariha, being another Pakistani, she can't because she was born here. She lived all her life. Her experiences are different.
I actually was born in Pakistan.
Okay, like born means like you just grew up here, right? So being her, like her experiences are different than my experiences, right? Came here like when I was right out of college, her going to school here. So these are different things. So diasporas, we will talk about, these are South Asian diasporas, not one diaspora. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that. And then I had this conversation with Fariha, like I really want to start a symposium at 12 Gates, and not at 12 Gates, actually in Philadelphia. And then we expand from Philadelphia, like where we talk about our South Asia diasporic identities. And we talk about like being artists, being writer, being poets. What are we doing? Like how future of diasporic American art, contemporary art. So Fariha suggested that why don't we write a grant together? And she asked me, what is your ideas? And at that time we had ideas, but I wanted to do some sort of lecture, some sort of workshop. And Ria, you know about Shazia's work. So I really, because I have been working with Shazia on so many different works, but I knew that, I don't know if you all know, Shazia Sikandar has her first public art installation in New York in Madison Square Garden Park, and her sculpture. You will, of course, see that when we have talked with Shazia. I don't want to talk about it too much, but her um, sculptures at Courthouse, which never happened in American history, like a diaspora artist have a sculpture in Courthouse, right? So I wanted to talk about Shazia and then Aruj Aftab. Why I thought of Aruj and so yes, so I just want to make sure that okay. So we talk about let's do a panel. Then let's do all the artists who are working with futuristic, futuristic themes. Let's do a panel. Let's have artists. Let's have curator on panels, and let's start. Let's just start. We don't have to plan too much. Let's just start. Faria said, why don't you do it with us and we write a grant together? And then I said, Faria, this is a lot of work, like for you, creating all this, because then I will be relying on you, because that's what 12 Bits wants to do. We want to find partners every year with like somebody else comes help us, and then we do these projects. And then Faria and we wrote this grant together with Sachs. And then we came up with, of course, during the grant process, we had to narrow down the whole process. What do we do? Let's have Ruby Chishti is one of a very few fabric artists who work with fabric. You'll see her. Her story is like an immigrant story, diaspora story, identity, being a woman, being a body, like living in her body space. Like she's changed homes all the time, just all of the above. So Ruby Chishti talks about this. If you can sign up for her workshop, even you can't do workshop, just come see her. Like she's an amazing person to meet as an artist, and doesn't matter if your background is literature, graphic, education, anthropology, she's someone you should really interact with her. And that's how it started. And Ruby really talks about healing trauma, mental health through her workshop, like because it's all hands-on workshop. And for me as a human being, it is important, but for 12 kids this is very important for us, because it took me some time to understand. I think I'm on artist side. I really want to be on artist side, like what artists want to talk about, like what artists want to show and facilitate them. So that I learned from these artists. Really, I learned through them. And then that's why for the panel, I don't know if you know much about Chitra Ganesh. Chitra Ganesh is, we can say she's like a veteran of contemporary artists in America. Her work is just really, whenever I see her work, I have fires inside me. Like her work starts with mythology, like comics, and then she kinds of go into such a futuristic theme. In her work, like women, female figure, non-binary figures, they're so powerful. Like they're amazing to just look at her work. And then Tasif Noor, he actually was at ICA. He was a fellow at ICA, and I really appreciate. Yes, that's Tasif, and I really appreciate his work, being a very young curator and having such an amazing eye, and not only that, like having such a clear sense of where diaspora art needs to go and how he represents, how he talks about it. And Sabataj, I absolutely love their approach, because their identity is that they are from South. Before they're South Asian, they are first South in America. So once you get to hear them, you'll see and her work and their work is like they talk about a lot of themes within, like a lot of Islamic themes, a lot of spiritual themes, but their work is like in a form of contemporary, because it talks about a lot of decoration, maximizing effect, like, and all Chitra has that too, and Sabah has that too, and that's where we want to talk. Our conversation is going to be. And then we were doing a panel with Shazi and Aruj Aftab. Both of them, we chose them because they both talk about ancient music, ancient history, and how they use them in contemporary today. Like even, I don't know if you all heard Aruj Aftab just perform for Grammy this past Sunday. And just hearing that, being a brown South Asian identity and being in Grammy, singing in Urdu, like, and or Hindi, however you want to say it, like it was so amazing, magical, like being there. So Shazia, Aruj, all music comes from like old music, right? They're all old ghazals, old, and then they kind of use them in a contemporary setting. And Shazia's work, we all know that. All her imagery, all her descriptions everything comes from like old manuscripts. And then, of course, so I always talk about that. We have our identity, like identity shows in any work. Like we talk about it over and over again. And of course, that's what, and Shazia's this piece, actually, you're looking at it. This is a piece which is at the courthouse. She is 8 feet tall, brass, um, yeah, infinity, like arms and legs and coming out of lotus. And I don't know if you're following all the controversy following Lotus with BJP. But again, the thing is, Lotus is not one, Lotus can't have one identity. Lotus is, it's like a really, like, it's like little things like which arts provoke, which arts are like, and conversations, which happens through contemporary art. So that's how Fariha and we talked about this project, and that's where we landed with it. How we decided to do it in this phase, like, and then Fariha and we talked about what it makes sense, because this is the first time and it's an expensive project, right? Like, how do we kind of spread it out, this project, so it makes sense to all students, all of you, because this is happening in Philadelphia, so this is important. So I guess, yes, so that's what I wanted to tell.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and it's been really a long time, coming together, thinking about this. Actually, it happened over a lunch.
Yeah.
It was purely unintentional, but our conversation sort of grew into, oh my gosh, these are things that we're both thinking about.
Yeah.
Let's really put our heads together and create this grant. And so this is the fruit of our labor. And the Sachs program really was incredibly supportive of our ideas and partnering with 12 Gates, the university partnering with 12 Gates as well. And so it's really terrific. And I just want to quickly say that, there's 4 different events. This is the very first one. Our next one, as Aisha mentioned, is the workshop with Ruby Chisti. So that will be actually a very small closed workshop. It will only allow 20 people because Ruby will be very hands-on. You're asked to bring old clothing, and you will recreate those, sort of the pieces of fabric and the memories of that particular fabric into new art. And she'll be guiding you throughout that particular process. And so we have tons of material that we've collected already, but everyone is asked to bring an old, perhaps it's an old pair of jeans, or it's an old blanket or something, and that will facilitate sort of this memory making creation of art.
Absolutely.
And that's on the 22nd of this month, so it's coming up, and registration is open, and we'll be capped at 20. So I urge you, if you're interested in thinking about this, to join us for that. The next one is the
panel.
And I should particularly pick these individuals, right, to join us. And I don't want to talk a little bit about how these all get paired together.
I'll do, but I don't want to talk about it too much because I want you to attend the conversation as well. And especially once you meet these 3, you'll know why I paired them. So for me, Tausif being a curator, I really wanted to have Tausif's voice because Tausif was in Philadelphia as well. And then he is actively writing about contemporary art. And the other thing I'll say, the name, The Third Space, where that name came from, I don't know if you're familiar with, he's one of the most favorite artists, Rashid Arai. Like, he is my guru. I always call, like, I read his books. Like, he is the person who came up, and this is not new, like this in 80s, he came up with the term The Third Space. Like, I think if you ask some art historians today, maybe they will just kind of contest that third space is an old term, but it never happened in Philadelphia before. So I was like, why not? So Tausif, actually, I was reading Tausif's recent interview with Rashid Arai, and where Rashid Arai said that I was never Muslim enough. Like, I never introduced myself as a Muslim. Like, he was Rashid Arai. You'll all Google him, so you'll know what I'm talking about. So I met him actually in his 80s. He is still in England. I met him in art fair in Italy, and I cannot tell you, like, I could just rub myself against him and I was walking away with some knowledge. It was like one of those people who's like, I call it like he is the contemporary art kind of guru alive today. You can talk to him. So Rashida and I said, and of course you'll hear me this throughout this event, even today in next 2 months. He said, the moment I realized like there's an urgent need for me to talk about brown artists, period, that day I realized I need to talk about my identity. I need to tell everyone, hi, I am a Muslim, Pakistani immigrant or diasporic artist. So the reason why it glued to me so much, I'm in Philadelphia. Nobody's asking me what I do, what is my identity, but certain times, and so many certain times, like I'm standing somewhere, I'm talking to someone, and I'm being asked, where are you from? And what are you doing here? And why you are doing this? So for me, why is this is an urgent need. I need to do it because it has to end somewhere. So it can't be like this. One person in 100 people is working on South Asian contemporary art. So South Asian contemporary art in America has a very massive space. Like our artists are making names, artists are making works every day. But we're still kind of as a tokenization, as a novelty. So I don't know. 12 gigs is too small to have this fight. This is institution's responsibility. But we have to start it somewhere. So when we were having this conversation, so for me, Tasif was very important figure in that, and Chitra being the work she's making. You know, she's talking about queer identities, queer South Asian identities. And Sabataj, I work with them and them for not being, and then this stigma, if you're not from East Coast, hello, you basically don't have, on the other hand, if you're a contemporary artist and you're contemporary artist of diasporic identity and you're not from New York, imagine the baggage you have. So, you know, and I'm sure Ria, you, and then you dealing with contemporary art, you'll see what it will resonate with you. Because, and same with East Asian, and it's same thing, like New York is the hub. So for Sabah, I thought of that because Sabah is in South in North Carolina, and I really wanted to bring them, like I really wanted to talk to them